What's going on, everybody? It is Atasha Watkins, your favorite realtor. We are back again, and I'm here with the beautiful, the wonderful Monica Soyemi. How's it going?
I am great. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So it is important. I think I kind of consider myself still a new agent,
Mhm.
quote unquote. I've been around the block a couple of times, but I think it's always good for new agents to hear this perspective of someone who's been seasoned and who's done it quite a bit. So what sets you apart from most agents?
I would say what really sets me apart from other agents is really just the tenacity, the patience, and also just the emotional intelligence. I mean, sometimes you'll have an experience where you might get a pre-approval and someone's like, "Oh, let's just go out and see homes," but you really want to understand like what is this person's world, what are they going through,
Hmm.
empathizing them, hearing them, understanding them, and really trying to find solutions, going above and beyond. If it's an issue with not having enough money saved or not having a credit score that's going to qualify, I just really take the time to make sure people get the service they need and are able to cross the finish line.
That's amazing. I think that one of the points that I want to touch on is that point of empathy. Can you ever think of a situation where that has benefited you the most, that with a particular client or anything like that?
Yeah, I would say my first listing actually was in Mount Vernon, and it was an older ladies, and they were sisters, and they were just sharing with me. They're like, Monica, we've lived here for our whole lives. I don't know how we're gonna part ways, but we had a really special moment. We had a prayer before they sold the house. We
Oh,
said thank you.
amazing.
We said thank you for all the many wonderful memories and times that we got to have here. And I said we're gonna make sure we find a great buyer for you that's gonna get you situated for your next place where you're going. So
Uh-huh.
you just gotta understand and feel people's energy and
Definitely.
make sure they feel
Yeah,
supported.
yeah.
Mhm.
So you are kind of like me. My family's originally from Antigua. You're originally from the Caribbean and from Africa. How was that for you growing up?
Yeah, so I mean, my mom was born. If you ask her, she's like, "I'm from the Bronx," but her family is from the Bahamas, and
Uh-huh.
dad's family is from Nigeria.
Uh-huh.
As you know, many immigrant families they do not play when it
Oh
comes
my God.
to the sacrifices that were made to come here. So
Uh-huh.
a lot of it was hard work. You really
Yeah.
have to make sure that you're putting in the effort because you understand the sacrifice that was made, and you want to make sure that you make everyone proud, but not just everyone proud, but yourself proud. That you can
Yeah.
feel that you're helping your family and helping yourself and future generations. So
Yeah.
that's a big part of who I am,
Yeah.
I would
I
say.
think sometimes the pressure can be a double-edged sword for
Yeah.
us as immigrants or family of immigrants.
Yeah.
We feel that pressure from our family coming here in order to us to do our very best.
Yeah.
Do you think that was more of a hindrance or tribute to your success, you being here?
I would say 100% it has contributed to the success. I mean, it's like the only option really is to succeed. I
Hmm.
mean, and the beauty of success is it's not that everything just goes right. It's that you're able to have adversity, overcome it, have another adversity, overcome it, have
Hmm.
issues, and continue to overcome. And to me, that's really success. It's not that everything went smoothly and,
Yeah, a
all
hundred
is.
percent. That's very, very well said. So I think the biggest question and the thing that people want to hear the most about is Ghanaian or Nigerian jollof.
Oh my gosh. Okay, first of all, we're gonna end this debate here and now. Nigerian jollof is the best jollof rice. Okay. For those of you who don't know, there is this lifelong uh, back and forth between Nigerians and Ghanaians who
Uh-huh.
has the best jollof rice. I'm gonna have to bring you some to let you be the
Nice.
determination.
I had both of them. So I've had, but the problem is that I'm pescatarian, so I don't eat meat. So I
Hmm.
know that the taste is a little bit different once
Yeah,
you put
when you
all
have the
the meat
meat,
and
it
everything
does have a
inside it
different
and you
flavor.
season it down. So I've had the vegan version, and I
Okay.
think that's not a fair judge of it.
Yeah.
I'm leaning towards Nigerian,
Okay. Okay.
but I
Okay.
haven't had enough Ghanaian to say this is definitively the best. But you guys are winning so far.
Look, we just do what we can. Okay. We the only thing we know how to do is, just dominate. No, but
Yeah,
it is a different flavor, vegetarian versus with the meat. But I
100%.
think, the seasoning, the spices, the way that we put it all together, I think
Definitely.
it's top
Have
tier.
you always wanted to be a realtor? Tell me about your life before this.
So no, real estate was not. If you would have asked me few years ago if this was something I was interested in, I probably would have said no. Before this, I was actually an opera singer. So that was my
Yeah.
job for many years. Traveled the world, 30 countries singing opera, and went to college for opera.
Yeah.
And when COVID happened, I was just like, okay, so what is next? What am I
Mhm.
gonna do? And I started researching, okay, passive income. How can I create income while I'm not traveling and singing?
Definitely.
I bought an investment property.
Yes.
From buying the investment property, I said, hey, maybe I can be a realtor to buy more investment properties. And here we are 3, 4 years later, still singing. And now I call myself the New York singing agent.
Amazing,
So
amazing. I think we want to touch, and the reason why I asked that question, I wanted to lead into this a little bit. I know you're an opera singer, you were successful in that, and I know our audience out there, a lot of people aspire for that financial freedom and look at the income properly. Tell me a little bit about the success of your income properties, and then let's also go into a little bit about the challenges that you faced.
100%. Well, I would say definitely have seen some amazing successes, 6-figure successes, and
Nice.
definitely have seen some scruffing of the knees. But I would say with the first investment property, I learned that I don't know if I would choose to buy a property with tenants already
Hmm.
inside. Also, you want to get proof of rent rolls. I actually bought a property where the tenants were not paying.
Hmm.
So it was a process of learning how to do my first
Yeah.
evictions, and I was like, okay, great job, first one.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Tell us a little about it. Tell us a little about that process for eviction. Especially with New York and being in New York and it being a very tenant friendly state. How did that process go for you?
Yeah, well, I chose to buy in Westchester because I
Hmm.
felt that the landlord laws were a little bit better than the city.
Yeah.
I think it would be nearly, just really hard to evict a tenant in New York City. But Westchester, I found Yonkers to be reasonable.
Okay.
There's actually an attorney that I worked with. He's like the top in Westchester, and he was able to do all the evictions. But when I saw the inside of that unit,
Hmm. Hmm.
it was definitely seen better days. But it was great. I had my family and friends come. We
Okay.
had a clean out party.
Oh, that's
We like
amazing.
cleaned out the whole unit, played music, and I was just like, I
Uh-huh.
appreciate that. So that's
Yeah.
who this is for.
Did you feed them for the free
They
labor?
they got they got fed good. They got fed really good. I was like, I don't know if you guys we're gonna have to
Oh
wash our
man.
full body after this clean out, but
Yeah.
they're definitely gonna,
So was this first unit, was it something that, did we just do minor renovations on it, or was it something that we had to go in and fully gut it? And tell us a little bit about that process, because we see HGTV and
hmm
we see the glitz and the glamours and they
hmm
get the cutaway. We
hmm
don't know how much work that actually goes into it. And I know
hmm
a lot of people, especially coming out
hmm
of the pandemic, this is one of their goals towards financial freedom.
100%, and I would say what the power of real estate has really done for me is being able to see that maybe, let's say, for example, you can make 10K a month in rents
Hmm.
and your mortgage might be, I don't know, 5K.
Hmm.
You always want to put money to the side for repairs, maintenance, vacancy,
Hmm.
um,
Hmm.
capital expenditures like, your roof, maybe if you want to have property management. But aside from all those being paid, you do see these amazing returns. For the
Hmm.
most part, I'm not at my rental property very often.
Okay.
And the tenants really do manage. But in terms of the rehab of that unit, I did need to do a semi gut, honestly.
Okay.
She had been living there for many years,
Uh-huh.
and there was some holes in the wall, and there were some unidentified substances in the fridge. So definitely wanted to make sure the new tenant moving in had everything they
Yeah.
needed. And to that point, I think it's important I prefer Section 8 tenants. I
Okay.
mean,
Yeah.
you can't beat it. I remember a time where I was on a family cruise and I got a notification that a direct deposit had hit, and it
Uh-huh.
was for my Section 8 tenants. And I said, I think
Nice, nice.
this
This has
is
worked for
more,
you.
this works for me. So we want more
Definitely,
of that
definitely.
automated income,
Yeah,
and not to say that being a landlord is completely passive. I mean, you do have your days where you have
of
to
course.
solve problems, but for the most part, I think the pros outweigh the cons.
100%.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people are yay and nay in terms of that whole Section 8 client. And how do you screen that? How do you make sure that you're getting the right clients for your units?
Yeah, so one of the things first, I'm a very big vibe person. I think as a
Uh-huh.
realtor, you learn a lot about people and
Yeah.
I read people's energy. But one of the things I actually do is I'll actually meet a tenant at their home for
Hmm.
one of the interviews where I'll say, hey, I'll meet you at your home. We can discuss, you potentially moving here. And one thing that I've learned is however that unit looks when you get there
That's
is
how
how
yours
your
is
apartment's
going to
gonna
look
look.
like.
So it's a
Uh,
little bit of a hack that I got from some real estate investing
we're not going to
investors.
mention. We're not going to mention it because I know exactly what you're talking
Yes,
about.
yes, yes. So that's one of them. I also do ask for like a reference letter. I speak
Okay.
with their manager. I also one thing that some people do is they'll ask for the previous landlord,
Okay.
but I'll ask for two landlords back because obviously the current landlord has a reason to say, oh, they're
Yeah.
great, take them. If
Yeah.
they're not a great tenant, but the one before has no real angle.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to be
100%.
the one who's going to be the most honest about their
Definitely,
experience.
definitely. For you, what's next? And I know this is very, very far off. Not everybody has that laid out, but the vibe that I get for you that you always have a plan. Do
Mhm.
we know what's going to be next in the stage of life?
I think the season of life is really just focus. One thing I've learned recently about is buying businesses.
Hmm.
And one thing I've learned for sure is the wealthiest people, most successful, quote unquote, success is subjective, but the most wealthy people in the world
Hmm.
either have two things, and that is either real estate or a business. 100%. These are facts.
Okay.
And that means that if you want to become wealthy, you've got to invest in real estate. And if you want to be wealthy, you've got to own a business or
Okay.
grow a business or buy a business.
Hmm.
So I'm looking into laundromats now.
Okay.
I'm looking
Oh,
into,
nice.
buying different types of businesses, but the opportunity is there. And I think you have to choose your heart. I was like, I could choose the heart of like really charting uncharted waters or choose
Of
the
course.
heart of like struggling until I'm 65.
So is that going to be something like where we're going to do like a mixed use property?
Yeah.
You're going to be the agent on the deal
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
whole 9 yards?
100%. 100%.
Awesome.
Yeah, actually, it's still under wraps, but I did buy a building where, we have appraisal next week where we're going to be closing
Oh,
soon.
congratulations.
And it's going to be a pretty epic laundromat. And once I've got some more things, I definitely will share more. So this is the little nugget.
Definitely. But for people who are just new to this, how do you go about scheduling and financing these projects? Is this more savings, or are you getting investors to come in and invest in your projects? How do you finance your projects?
I do get investors. And then one thing also is I use something called a HELOC. So
Okay.
that first property that I bought has gone
Uh-huh.
up so much in equity that now it's 6
Yeah.
figures that you can borrow to go do other things. So that's also the power of real estate. Once you get that first one out the way and you're able to see some appreciation, you can borrow against your current assets. So
That's
this is
such a
something
good-
that's paying you
Such a good
that you
gem.
can borrow against to go invest into something else that's paying you. So I think overall, just leveraging assets and good relationships.
Definitely.
People will pay and invest in things that make sense, that can make them money. So
Awesome. And are these all private investors in terms of people that you've known, or are we going to different events to meet people out there?
I would say it's the gamut. It's people from high school, it's people from college. They watch what you do on social media. Sometimes you get random investors from YouTube who say, hey, look, I see what you're doing. I'm interested in investing with you. So at this point, it's a global thing, but I do choose wisely who I want to borrow money from, and always make sure I can guarantee.
How do you vet them?
Well, first thing I do ask, well, so far the main people that I've gotten the financing from is friends and family. Not really anybody outside of that.
Okay.
And so in terms of friends and family, I already know you. I know what it is. So the vetting isn't huge, but I do always have a contract in place.
Okay.
I do always explain it. I would do
Protect
always
yourself.
put I'll even put the properties up as collateral for whatever loans people are offering, because I want them to know that, I'm not going to just borrow this and run away. So
Definitely.
integrity is big on that.
Yeah, integrity is big, 110%.
Yeah.
So for everybody, well, for most people, I guess there are certain people out there who are self-driven,
Right.
who come about it themselves. But I know for me, there's been inspiration along the way, whether it's a book or a TV show or even mom and dad. Who are your biggest inspiration?
I would say mom. She is a go-getter. She just goes and goes and goes, and she just doesn't look up. So this is really who it's all for.
Okay.
She even helps me with that first investment property. I was saving. I made it to like $11,107 exactly.
Oh, wow.
And she saw how much I was working. So she actually found additional money to help me buy that first property. And so that was a huge sacrifice.
Amazing.
And so that's part of it. But Rich Dad Poor Dad, obviously everyone loves that.
Yeah.
Currently reading 10X by Grant Cardone. People love him, hate him, but I think the 10X mindset I think is really interesting. It's like, if your goal was to make 20 calls, just 10X that and just go for 200. So just that mindset of going 10X for your whole
Going
life,
hard,
your
100%.
relationships, your financial goals, your everything. Just like, why not think a little bit bigger?
100%, 100%.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
This has been an amazing few minutes. We want to be conscious of your time. Big things that happen for you. Congratulations again on what's going to go on. I don't know if you want to tell
Thanks.
anybody, but congratulations on what's going to go on in the next couple of hours.
Yes, closing today. Woo-hoo.
Yeah, I think that's what most realtors. That's the day that we enjoy the best.
Yes.
If you can give any advice to a new realtor in the business, something that you've done that you want everybody else not to do, what would that be?
Well, one thing I used to do is I used to think that my phone was supposed to ring when someone was ready. Like, oh, they'll call me when they're ready.
Okay.
It's like, this is an outbound sport. So you have to make calls. You have to let people know what you do. And, also you have to, make sure that you take the time to understand where your clients are, because some clients are like, I'm ready to shop. Let's go. And then they're not really as ready as you think. So taking the time to really have a buyer's meeting, seller's meeting, is important.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
I'd say that's one.
Cool, cool. Again, this is Atasha Watkins, your favorite realtor. Monica, can you tell them where they can reach you at?
So you can reach me on social media, Monica Soyemi, with an S at the end, or also on YouTube, Monica Soyemi, TikTok, Monica Soyemi, LinkedIn, all the things Monica Soyemi, your New York singing agent.
Yeah. Again, this is Atasha Watkins, your favorite realtor. We'll see you guys in the future. I'm out. Peace.